At first glance, it can appear difficult to install Layflat fittings in your irrigation system. If you've ever attempted to install them without the proper tools and techniques, you've no doubt experienced the frustration of trying to get them installed into your Layflat line. With the right tools and a little guidance, we're going to turn that frustration into fearlessness and show you how to effectively and efficiently install teardrop fittings into Layflat hose. I sat down with Ed from Irritec, a global manufacturer of Layflat and irrigation components, and asked him to share a little bit of his vast knowledge through his years in working with Layflat. All you'll need is your Layflat cutter to cut the hole in your Layflat line, the hex head tool to twist in the teardrop fitting, and a little bit of time. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge you need to quickly and easily install your own Layflat fittings. Step 1. Use proper tools, a Layflat cutter and the hex head tool. The cutter makes precise holes in the Layflat of specific dimensions meant for the teardrop fittings.
The first correct tool is the cutter. They will correspond with what we call our teardrop. And our teardrop here is what goes into the Layflat. It relates to the size opening to allow the amount of flow to go through. Our 5/8 tape fitting will normally come with a 14 millimeter teardrop, which will allow the correct flow to come through here to give us a tape run. Our 7/8 tape fitting will have a larger opening, therefore it needs a larger teardrop.
The hex head tool provides leverage needed to easily get the teardrop into the hole you just cut.
The next thing is to definitely use the hex head tool. It's tough to get into Layflat. We're cutting a very, very small hole. The hole itself, we can only get the fitting into about right here. Hex head tool allows us to drive it all the way in, and now we have a turning point and a twisting point to really help you get it into the Layflat right there.
We see a lot of people try to get away with not using the hex wrench. It's an important tool that makes the job much easier. Step 2. Find the best place to make your cut in the Layflat.
The best place to cut the Layflat is in the fold seam right here. And so with the tool, you want to just take it all the way in and make your cut. You're going to have a little half moon, which makes a full circle. And that's all there is. And as you can tell, that fitting is sitting there and you're like, how in the world does that fitting fit in that small hole? Not very easy. That's why you have this.
Step 3. Prepare the Layflat hose for teardrop insertion.
A big trick is also, don't be afraid to run a little bit of water in the Layflat. It'll be kind of difficult to put it in here now because we don't have the length of the Layflat giving us weight. You know, as we turn this thing in there, this whole thing's going to want to fight us a little bit, but actually running a tiny bit of water in here as you're cutting and putting your fittings in is actually a huge help.
Step 4. It's time to insert the teardrop fitting.
One thing that's always going to help you is the warmer the Layflat is, the easier it is to get the fitting in. If you're doing this where it's really cold outside, it's going to be tough.
Slightly unscrew the teardrop to aid with insertion.
Normally, the fittings will always come where this is all threaded down tight. You need to unloosen it a little bit because the wall is going to be straddling between this, and it also allows us to turn it in. And with the fitting, you're going to want to drive it all the way in. Meaning you don't want to just stop right there because when I go to turn it in, this is just going to rotate, right? I want to bring it all the way into it, all the way in through like that.
Step 5. Insert the teardrop fitting into the Layflat hose hole cutout.
You're going to stick it in as far as you can, like that.
Step 6. Twist and drive the teardrop down.
And then use your hex head tool.
Step 7. Tighten the fitting by extracting the hex head halfway, and then twist until secure.
And then you'll thread it down tight right here like that. And just put her down nice and tight. And your plastic thread's the plastic thread, so don't go too crazy with it, but it's made to be very, very snug. It's not just hand tight, it's more than hand tight. Really tighten it down good.
One thing we get asked a lot is the minimum distance between fittings in the Layflat hose. There's a couple things you want to keep in mind that Ed is going to explain for us.
If I'm dealing with tape, my tape's running at 10 pounds of pressure. And we talked earlier about how when it's hot outside, this thing becomes softer. If I'm running 10 pounds and I cut a teardrop fitting in there, I'm not so worried about if my fittings were 6 inches apart or 8 inches apart. Let's say I'm running a micro sprinkler line and I'm wanting to run those micro sprinklers at 35 pounds. I'm dealing with that same heat. I have a product that's getting softer on me. And if I start putting my fittings too close together, you know, let's say if I'm putting them at 6 inches or I'm putting it at 8 inches and I'm pressurizing it up pretty heavily, I have the ability to possibly tear between one teardrop to the other teardrop. This is a woven product, right? And so the further I can put my teardrop fittings part, the more weave, the more structure I have,
The more integrity it has.
the more integrity I should have. And again, this is based upon the warmer it gets, right? When we're dealing with 100-degree days out there, we're definitely putting this product through a test. It's becoming softer. It's wanting to move and expand and contract on us. When it's doing that, the teardrop fittings are being pulled down line, up line as it's moving, expanding and contraction. It's a lot easier to be able to tear in between it. And like I said, the smaller spacing you have in those teardrops, that's just that much area where that woven product has been broken and the pattern's been broken on it. No real answer to it, but at 10 pounds, I wouldn't be afraid to put it probably 6 inches to 8 inches apart. But if I was running a 35-pound system, like probably 12 inches, that's as close as I would do it. Exactly.
Gotcha.
And usually it's with a micro system, you don't see lines 12 inches apart. Micro sprinklers shoot 12, 13 feet. Normally see at a minimum of 10, probably 8 feet apart. We make plugs for everything too, so we can thread that fitting off if we want to put something in a different location, just thread a cap. Our threading patterns and everything correspond with other stuff that we sell. And so once you get that teardrop in there, we can do multiple things off that teardrop. You can go from 5/8 tape to 7/8 tape. We could go from 5/8 tape to, let's say, up to, if we want to do some hose and do some micro sprinklers. It's tough enough to get the teardrop in there as it is. We want to be able to do multiple things off that and never have to pull the teardrop out, try to put it back in again.
By following the step-by-step instructions and incorporating the knowledge that we provided today, you are well on your way to creating a reliable and efficient irrigation system for your project. If you'd like to learn how to automatically inject fertilizers and nutrients into your Layflat system, check out our full guide on the Mix Right fertilizer injector right there.